I just look. I was look on the.
Oh, on your Instagram
No,
or
YouTube on YouTube.
on YouTube? Okay, hold on. Let me quickly double check.
One moment, guys. We just gotta make sure everything is.
Yeah, it's
Click on
live.
it?
Yeah, we're live.
No, I just want to see like the. No, you click on it.
Yeah, it's not really quick. Okay, hold on. Live. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
bet. We
Yeah.
should be chilling. We should be chilling. So like.
Yeah. Check everything we're doing right now.
I'm picky, guys. I'm so picky. I'm sorry. Yes. All right.
Should we move closer to the camera, or is this good for you?
I think this is good.
Okay, yeah, no problem.
All right. It's your boy Donne Colioni. You already know what it is, and we're back with another podcast. And we have a special guest today for episode 30. We got
Shola, hi, what's up? How y'all doing? It's your favorite straight creative Shola signing in to this podcast. So yeah.
You already know what it is, you know. And it's funny because like a lot of you guys are asking, Don, how come there was no girl on the podcast? There's no girl on the podcast, no girl on the podcast. It's like, well, here we go. But the reason why is like, yo, listen, I DM like everybody, and like she was the only one who wasn't bougie. Yeah, I mean, all y'all shorties be bougie out here, bougie, think you're whatever. I don't know. It's like, bro, like, but
Okay,
she,
let's talk about the ladies. Let's talk about the ladies. Okay, we met in person. We talked in person. That's why I feel like it went smoothly. But like when you hit someone in the DM, like you already know that there's a reason why they're hitting you up. So maybe they're kind of nervous. If you're probably like trying to hit on them or something
it's
like
fair,
that.
I guess. Yeah, I don't know. I agree to disagree.
Yeah.
But without further ado, do you want to tell people like who you are and like
Yes,
what
for
you do?
sure. So my name is Shola, actually, Shola Badewa, and I make content on YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram on pop culture, social commentary, basically talking about different things that I see in the community and in society that we should improve on, or just controversial topics or topics in general that I feel like we should have more discourse or have more discussions on in general. Essentially, I go to McEwen and everything like that, and I'm studying social work, so I plan to definitely be more in the community and with youth, and I just have general love and care for my community in general. So yeah, that's what's up.
Okay, that's cool. That's cool. So, what inspired you to like jump on YouTube? Like, what was like?
Like during the pandemic time, we were all bored. We had really nothing
Bored.
to do. It was just school online. So I really just was thinking about it for a while that, okay, like, why don't we just go ahead and make YouTube videos? Why don't we just try and everything like that? And it was just, I feel like honestly, like I was inspired by God, not gonna lie. Like it just felt like it made sense and everything when I first started my YouTube channel. So just generally just, having a knack for just talking about stuff and everything and just being conversational. So yeah.
Was there like a inspiration or something?
I mean, there were some YouTube channels that I saw that I was like, oh yeah, I definitely wanted to do that. I was like, yeah, I can do makeup and like go ahead and talk about stuff. And I was just like, nah, I need to do my own thing. So originally, when I first started, I had like motivational Mondays, I had skits, and then I had like commentary, just talking about popular issues. But then I feel like my commentary really like got people more interested in my YouTube channel. So I just continued to just doing commentary. So yeah, that's pretty much it.
So you basically like just tried a bunch of different stuff.
Yes, I did try different things just to see what people would like and want to hear more from me and everything like that. Because like you can want to do one thing, but then what really breaks you through like that platform is really just one specific thing that people want to see from you. And then once you build your own platform, then you can go ahead and expand other things that you want to do. So yeah, that's what I'd say.
Interesting. Okay. So like, tell us the story. How did you make it to 8 1,000 subscribers. What's the secret? What is the secret? What's the
I ain't got no
the
secret.
yeah,
I
secret
ain't got
ingredient?
nothing. It's all God. I'm not even gonna lie. Because I truly believe that, yeah, you might want to do something, but if you're not consistent with it, there's nothing for God to bless in your life in order for it to get this far and everything. Like, I've only been doing it for 3 years and I haven't even been consistent all throughout the 3 years. Like, I would do videos for like 6 months and then I would stop. And then I would start again another 6 months later, and then I would go again and like stop for a while and then start a year later. So honestly, I would definitely just say like being conscious of what's around me and like allowing everything around me to be inspiration, but understanding at the same time that just because something is popular doesn't mean I gotta do it. Just because lots of people are doing it out here and they're getting a lot of views doesn't mean that my content has to be reflected in that kind of way. I can go ahead and do my own thing, and people who like my content will see me. So yeah, honestly, God above, it's only Him. Because if I wasn't consistent, there's no way I would get here. To be honest, if I didn't have the actual talent to back what I'm doing, there's no way you would ever know what the show is. So yeah,
Mhm.
that's what I think.
You see something interesting about like following like trends and stuff. So are you just like you're not into like following trends for
I
like
wouldn't
style?
I wouldn't say so. In the very beginning, like it makes sense why you could go ahead and follow trends just so you can build a platform for yourself. But I think that eventually you have to find your own footing. Like you can go ahead and see a trend that you want to do, but have your own spin on it. Don't just look like you're doing it like everybody else. Make sure it's original to you. So even after the trend is gone, because you did your own thing, you can still market it. You can still have a lot of people see it, and you can still make money from it. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's what I think. Yeah, that's what I would say.
So is Tik no, what am I talking about? TikTok? Is what I was gonna say is like, do you just post on YouTube or do you do TikTok?
I do YouTube and everything mostly, but I did TikTok for a bit. But you see, TikTok is that kind of platform that like if you piss off the wrong kind of people, you'll get hate and everything like that. And
Really?
I did a video where it was a con video. Lots of people were doing the same video, but I did my own spin on it. And tell me why, like so many people started coming to my page, and I got like so much hate from it and everything like that. I mean, I got to 7K, like what's it called, 7K followers and everything, which is great. But like after a while, I was like, the hate that I'm getting is like
Let the
a
hate make
little.
you great.
I mean, yeah, but like that's not the kind of attention I wanted at the time. So like I now have a new like TikTok, but like if you check my old TikTok and everything like that, it's still at like 6,000 like what's it called, followers and everything like that. People who still like keep up with my content and everything. But yeah, I essentially only post on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube, and occasionally Twitter. But like yeah, that's what I do.
Twitter.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I post on Twitter occasionally and everything like that. Because if you check my Instagram, there's like a specific format I like for my stuff to be. So I like video, what's it called, a tweet, and then another video or another picture. So that's how I like my format to be. So like when you look at my Instagram, it looks very clean and precise. So yeah, that's me personally. Yeah.
Interesting. Because yeah, I noticed because when I was watching your YouTube videos, it was very like you're very opinionated, right? So I'm thinking like, I wonder how your Twitter is looking like. You're probably
I
like,
mean, no, no. Listen. I don't tweet that much. I usually like a whole bunch of tweets. I don't tweet that much for myself because I like the stuff that I post and put out there to be either very inspirational or I go ahead to like talk about things that bring people closer to my YouTube channel. So, for instance, I like going ahead to ask people questions. Like, for instance, if Burnaboy is not the African giant, then who is? And I name like Wizkid, Fela, or like Davido, and then after I post it on my Instagram, and then people start asking questions and everything like that, or they'll go ahead and answer, and then people be like, "Oh, why did you ask that question?" And then I'll link them to the YouTube video where I went ahead to talk about Burna Boy is not the African giant and why. So like those kind of ways I use my social media platform to like I guess trickle like I have a huge cycle of people just checking out my stuff all the time. So yeah,
interesting.
that's what I would say.
It's giving a little bit, animosity towards
Ah,
Burna Boy. So I don't know.
nah, that's not even it at all. That's not even it. I would say the reason why I wanted to make that specific video was because of the fact that I think that a lot of people go ahead and use the cries of the people or talk about social injustice in such a way where they make it seem like they're actually standing for their people. But then when it comes down to it, you chilling in your $3 million house, talk about I stand with my people on Twitter, and you're not really doing anything. And I'm just like, it doesn't make any sense. It's giving performative. So I'm just like, let's go ahead and come up with something else. So it's not that I'm saying that Burna Boy is a bad person. I'm just saying that like let's not call him the African giant. He's a performer, and let's leave it at that. I like his performances. I went to his concert. Like he's a cool guy. I would say in terms of performing, but
Yeah.
he's not an activist, and I don't think we should be putting pressure on people out here who are going ahead to be performers, actors, or whatever the case may be. Let's put that emphasis on the government. Let's not put it on normal people like you and I. You know?
I feel like a lot of these like influencer stuff. It's like now it's like I feel like we're in a culture where it's like it's cool to be like an activist. Like everybody wants to be like
Yeah.
an activist. but they don't like really care for the cause, but they're just doing it because like, oh yeah, I'm an activist, bro. Yeah, I'm an
Exactly.
activist.
Like people are gonna be like, "Oh my gosh, you're our savior!" Da, da, da. You're not doing anything. You just want people to be supporting you. That's it. And I'm just like, nah, I don't agree with that personally. So that's why I made that kind of video. And going ahead to engage in conversations where it gets people thinking about stuff on how could we go ahead and better help our society and our community is really what I care about. Not really laying emphasis on people who have all the fame and all the fortune, but like who can really do what we need to do out here. Can it be us or can it be that kind of thing? So, yeah, that's what I
One
think.
thing I will say about Burnaboy though, is like I like to. I mean, it's only like one clip, so like I mean, I don't really like. I'm not gonna lie to you. I ain't gonna hold you. I only started listening to him after the concert. I can't even lie. I didn't really know who this guy was until the concert last year. I ain't even gonna lie to you.
And he's African, everybody. Okay, crazy. That's good. Continue.
But what I was gonna say, where I was going with that was, yeah, I like how like he was talking about how the history of Africans and how like we don't really know the history. Like for example, before the Europeans came and did their thing, in Africa, right? Like we had a whole history before that. So I like how he kind of touched on that. Which I thought was kind of cool and that no one's really talking about. So that's why I kind of gave him credit for that. But that's only like one clip that I've seen for him. So I don't really know, but I reposted it. I ain't gonna lie. I reposted it.
I mean, I can't blame you. No one's holding you to it. It's just that don't call yourself the African giant if you ain't actually a giant in Africa. If you ain't actually doing anything to help your people, let's just leave it at that. Just call yourself a performer and go make your money and go. That's it. So that's what I'd say. Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard to. I don't really know him like that, so I don't know what like what he doing and what he up to if he's like given to.
Yeah, I can't criticize him. I'm not criticizing him. I'm just saying that like I think it's better to just keep the whole social justice thing to one side. Don't take it and put it on top of your head and then have everybody think that this is who you are when it's not. That's all. But yeah, I mean, there's other African artists who do the same thing. It's just that he's the biggest one who's made it mainstream. Like he went ahead to like perform in Madison Square. Like he's gone ahead to be on multiple shows and everything like that. He looks like he's a Nigerian homegrown person that everyone could say yes, he's for his people. But then in all actuality, he's just not. He's just a performer who's making money. That's it. So.
Yeah. And he showed up late to the concert.
I know. In Vancouver, he showed up late. In Edmonton, he showed up late. What's going on? Like. Let's give the money back. Let's do that.
Don't get into it. We like Burna Boy.
Yes, he's a great performer. He was good. His mom was even there. I thought it was lit.
Say where?
Yeah. His mom came to the Vancouver one. It was lit.
Oh, actually?
Yeah, she was dancing in the back and everything. It was so awesome. But yeah, I don't know about y'all in Edmonton having to wait 4 hours.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
This guy, yeah. That's my money too. And I was kind of cheesed when I saw him come on the stage. I was like, I was ready to get up. I was like, bro, like you gonna make me
like 4 hours.
I feel like this is my thing. I feel like if you're an artist, like you shouldn't make your fans like wait for you. I feel like you should just be on time. Like I get it, like even with this podcast and stuff like Black Time, I get like 10 minutes, whatever. Max like half an hour to an hour. Like you should be like, especially like artists at this level.
Yeah,
you should have sound guys checking like in the morning until like you actually perform and stuff. You know what I mean? Like,
literally.
Like you shouldn't be I don't care about the excuses. This is stuff that's been announced months prior.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
Literally, the day of the event, everyone's already chilling. Everyone's already in the venue. We're already waiting for the artists. People are still scrambling in front of the freaking stage, and no one's getting anything done. Where everything's just like, oh yeah, we're just waiting for the artists to come. Yeah. And they'll be bringing people, hey, you guys ready for Burnaboy? And like for 2-3 hours, Burnaboy doesn't show up. We just have like performances left and right and center. So it's kind of just like, what's the point of showing up early when he's not even gonna be there? So yeah, were you at the front?
Where was I? I was like in the middle-ish. I'm not gonna lie, like I remember I didn't know any of the songs. I only knew last. I listened to the last the day of the concert.
I think he needs to be canceled.
I listened to the last day of the concert. I'm gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. I'm assimilated. I'm trying to like get back to my roots. Either way, looking at me like, yo, this guy.
Yo, he went to the whole concert and heard last the day of.
I heard. Oh God. I remember I was at my homie group. Was like, yeah, he's like, yeah, man, like listen to last, so it's just so you won't be a little bit lost. I'm like, okay. Oh, okay.
A little bit lost.
And I was like, oh, shy, yo. I was like.
No comment. I'm just gonna let you go because I don't know what to say to that.
Yeah.
Oh man.
But yeah, what's it called? Moving off from Burna Boy though, I was gonna ask. You're also you want to talk about like the Telus stuff you've been doing?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. So currently, I'm going ahead to be, I would say, a independent producer with one of my friends, Alex, and we're going ahead to do a community project where we're traveling all throughout Edmonton, Grand Prairie, and Fort Mac, and we're just essentially going ahead to feel the pulse of the community because we're called Community Pulse Alberta. So essentially, we're going to go ahead to different events. We're going to talk to different organizations, personnels, people who are really making a change and a shift in our community and see how they are furthering the culture in unity, in our presence, and just all going ahead to like bring growth to what we see around us and everything. So that's essentially what we're doing, and we're supported by TELUS essentially. So yeah, it's really exciting. I'm super, super, super excited to go ahead and start traveling and meeting new people and just have a sense of community around me. So yeah, that's essentially what we're doing. So hopefully we get to see people coming out to the events in Edmonton and everything. I know
Oh,
there's
you guys
some
are having
events.
events.
Yeah, there are some events in Edmonton that we're going to be going to. I know that there's a Ubuntu festival and a Ukrainian festival coming out next week, next weekend and everything, and Afro Carnival is
There's
coming
food?
out. Yeah, there's food, free food,
Okay,
vendors, and
bet,
everything
bet,
like
bet.
that. Like I hear it's going to be great. I think there's also a Haitian celebration happening this Sunday and everything like that. And there's just several community events that are showing up that we're going to be actually there interviewing people, talking to people, getting their, I guess, their energy, their pulse on how they feel about the community events and how we can just promote better community etiquette and just helping one another. So yeah, that's essentially what we're doing.
Hmm, interesting. Okay.
Mhm.
I'm definitely pull up to those events.
Mhm.
There's food. You know, there's food, man. Like, I'll show up.
My people. That's the only time we need to show up. If there's food, man, I'm gonna pull up.
And sometimes food is a great motivator.
Mhm.
It's like, yo, like I remember because I was on the for my school's like Black Association.
Mhm.
I just say jollof rice. Everyone's huh? Jollof rice? What Nigerians say just like, huh? Jollof? Guys from across the hallway. I heard jollof rice. I heard it.
That's hilarious. Please don't kill me.
Oh God, man! You know, sometimes yo, I'm telling you, food is a great motivator. It will
Mhm.
make people do things. You know,
Mhm.
it just I don't even know what I'm saying at this point, but like, you know what I mean? It's just like it's just such a like it's like a superpower. Like it will motivate you to do
Mine
things.
says super.
It's like food will motivate you to do things you never thought you could ever like imagine. It just brings something out of you. You know what I mean? Like maybe I'm just saying all this because I'm hungry. I
Probably.
look you do know.
Probably. So how do you think like you personally like you feel about like the community here in Edmonton and everything, like the black community in Edmonton? Like, what do you think about that?
What I think about the black
Yeah.
community in Edmonton? Hmm. Damn. Just put me on the spot. What do I think about the black community in Edmonton? I don't know. I mean, like it's like I don't know. I mean, like I kind of think when I think about the black community, I think of it like a whole.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? I'm kind of just like, a lot of us. I don't know. I just feel like a lot of us are kind of just like all over the place. I would say,
Mhm.
in general,
Do
not
you
just
feel like we
Edmonton.
have a focus? Like, do you feel like we're actually established, or is it just very much like everywhere?
What do you mean by established?
Like, you know how like when it comes to different communities in Edmonton, whenever they want to do things, they're so unified. But for us, it's kind of just like we're everyone wants to do their own thing. There's no one ever wants to like really come together and just do one big thing all together because everyone has their own agenda or thoughts on like what they want to do. So
Yeah,
like, what do you think about
I'll
that?
say this. We're very stubborn in that way.
Yeah.
I find in the black community, it's very like we want to do our own thing. You know what I mean? And then when it comes to doing united shit, this is like everybody's kind of like has their own idea. There's always button heads. There's
Yeah.
always like I don't know. This is from what I've like witnessed and seen. Like nobody really is like coming together like that. And this is not even just Edmonton. This is just in general. Like I feel like the community is just really like. Here's what I will say because I did a whole thing. I don't know if you saw on my channel about like I talked about Black History Month and stuff like that. I
Yeah.
said a whole thing about like how the black community we don't really know like our history. This is more like in the states. Like for example, like a lot of them don't even know where they like came from and stuff like
Originally, yeah,
that.
yeah.
They don't even know the history before like the whole like European thing
Mhm.
and all that. Like, I'm a victim myself. Like I didn't even know who Burna Boy was until like the concert. You know what I
I
mean?
mean,
Like,
I can't really blame you because it's not from your place, so it makes sense. But
yeah.
like, I feel like it's kind of difficult for us to like say anything when it comes to African Americans because it's like they came through slave trade. Like they
Yeah.
don't really have a base. They created their own base.
Yeah.
And like I'm proud at the fact that they're able to like go so far, but at the same time, like us as Africans, us knowing where we're from is like the backbone of our existence. If we don't know where we're from, everyone's gonna toss you around. But it's like because you have your name, your identity, and everything like that, you have your family there, and they know their own roots, they can pass it down to you. But like if you don't know your own roots, how are you supposed to progress? To be honest, so
I feel like too, like it's also like you kind of owe it to yourself to find out where you came from. You know what I mean? Like even if you're like you don't know because like some kind of like slave trade or whatever. I feel like how are you just gonna go your whole life without like a lot of like in the States they'll be like, yeah, I'm African American, but like they could be like a Nigerian or Ghana or like you know what I mean? Like I feel like even just beyond that, like knowing like your history of like a lot of these guys don't even know who Mansa Musa is, or they don't know like YUSKE or even like about the Moors or like all these different like you know what I mean?
Yeah,
you know what I'm talking about.
yeah.
I assume you did your research.
Yeah.
I know you did your research.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's something that like it's very difficult because for us, we had that knowledge passed down from our parents who are from back home. But a lot of them, when they get educated about their own history, is from school. You know, it's from the people who probably don't even look like them, who will brush over slave trade and then go into another history topic for their lesson. And that's it. They don't really have any prior knowledge about it because it ends up being that no one's educating them properly about what they're supposed to know. So at the same time, as much as it's like, yeah, like we need to have self-education, we have to criticize the system that's going ahead to teach people about things. We can't always like blame it on the people to always like because when you're young, like when you're first going to school, yeah, like when you get older, yeah, you have the responsibility. But then when you're younger, if you're not instilled with those kind of values and morals and like ideas to go ahead and start chasing and figuring out like what's really out there and what's really going on with my history, you're not gonna do it, right?
Yeah.
So it's kind of like you have to not only put responsibility on the person when they get older, but when they're younger, we have to criticize the system and get the system to really change up. But like, would you say that in terms of like the creative community? Yes. How do you feel about the creative community in Edmonton? Do you really think it's popping, or do you think it's just there?
The creative community.
Yeah, like I'm talking about musicians, performers, like I'm talking people who make videos, people who go ahead and do podcasts or whatever. What do you think about that?
I've noticed a little bit of it's an interesting mutation or kind of like an era happening right now. I'm kind of noticing it's more like we're just in the beginning stages right now. I think it's like I noticed like back in like 2018, or maybe I was just oblivious. Maybe it was always around, and I just you know what I mean. I don't even, to be honest, I don't really consider myself. It's gonna sound kind of like borderline narcissistic, borderline. I don't even consider myself like a part of the creative.
Dang, why would you say that?
Or like I don't know. I don't want to put myself in the scene. Like when I'm, okay, it's gonna sound kind of crazy, but like when I'm talking about this podcast, like what I do, I'm not comparing myself to anyone. Edmonton, like I'm going up against like Joe Rogan. Like, I'm thinking like, I'm like, you know what I mean? Like I'm up against like I'm with the big dog.
Yeah.
I'm thinking like I'm competing like. Cause think about it. If I'm out here like thinking about okay, like I'm in this in my small community, in this Edmonton community, like, okay, I'm up against these guys. Like obviously it's you versus you, but there is like a competition aspect. You know what I mean? When I'm thinking like in this Edmonton community, like I'm basically putting myself like like a big fish in like a small pond. You know what I mean? Like I'm trying to be on some Joe Rogan level type stuff. Like I'm like, you know what I mean? Like I'm trying to be on like valuetainment. I don't know valuetainment.
No.
I'm trying to be on like valuetainment type level. I'm going up to the Joe Rogans, the Diary of a CEO, the Lewis Howes, the
wow.
Don't know all these
no,
guys.
I don't know.
Like all these different podcasts.
Yeah.
But to say like what my thoughts on the creative community, I mean like it's cool. I find like here's one thing I will say, it's very clicked up, I noticed.
Yeah.
And it's very like I don't know. I feel like I think it's the clickiness and just a lot of this honestly really what it is, like the clickiness and just like I find it's like it's weird. It's like no one wants to really support each other.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Feel
Like
that,
everybody,
yeah.
like you said, everybody kind of want to do their own thing, but when it comes to coming together, it's like I don't think this was one thing I realized too. I think like a lot of people don't realize that once you come together, you know what I mean. You're not gonna because I feel like some people might have this mindset of like, okay, if I team up with people, then people are gonna be like, oh, my audience is gonna go to this guy, and I'm gonna lose out. But at the end of the day, if you think about it, when you collab, you know what I mean? Both your audiences merge, right?
Mm-hmm.
Some of your audience might go to him, some of his audience might go to you. Like you're not like if you're him, I was gonna say if you're him, your audience is not gonna leave you. You know what I mean? If you're him, if you're that guy or that woman or that if you're just them, you know what I mean? Like your audience is gonna stay solid with you. You don't gotta worry about losing your audience. I feel like you gotta have that like security in yourself that yo, like I'm him or her. You know what I'm trying to say? You know what I'm saying?
Please,
Like,
oh my, it's giving red pill right now, but it's
no,
okay.
no,
It's okay. I'm him. Like, wow, that's crazy. Listen, for me just making videos, that's what I mean. Okay, I understand your point of
yeah,
view. Like, everyone
and
has.
collabing with people benefits you,
Yeah,
you and the other person.
yeah, for
I mean,
sure.
everybody eats.
I agree with that. I agree with that ideology that, like, you know what, it's you versus you. Like, each and every time when I make a video, I'm always comparing it to my last. I'm like, okay, I like this part, but I want to fix this and everything like that. But I'll definitely say in Edmonton, it is very clicky.
Mhm.
Like, at times, I would say that, like, the people that I look for support in are not the people who are my friends in Edmonton. I am so honest with you right now. Like, there are people, don't get me wrong, that, like, see what I'm doing and then they support me regardless. And I appreciate that. But I would definitely say when it comes to people supporting one another or like going ahead to push like people's content or whatever, or actually just engage with it. People in Edmonton don't do that. People in Canada in general don't really do that unless you're in those hotspot areas like Vancouver or Toronto. And even then, when you blow up, you end up moving to the States. You don't end up staying in Canada, or you end up like going ahead to have a base in Canada, but then you're constantly moving outside of Canada just to continue to keep your buzz and everything like that. I would say the creative community has always been there, in my personal opinion. It's just that now they have more of a platform. There are more people who are actually coming out and being more aggressive with it that, hey, we're actually doing this, we're actually doing that and everything. Especially in the musical space, I would definitely say.
Yeah.
Like we literally went to one of our friends like concert like not too long ago and
Yeah.
everything like that. Like those kind of things I've seen actually happen more often. But when it comes to more networking or just creatives just being in the same space, I feel like that's where it's still coming up. We're still trying to find a grounding for that, a true platform for that in Edmonton and everything. But I feel like the community is there. It's just that everybody's just doing their own thing. And I can't wait for the time when we're not doing our own thing. We're all coming together to do stuff. But until then, it's kind of just like, oh, you know this person, and everyone's just kind of making their own bread their own way kind of thing. So.
It's weird because like you'll try to like collab with people and stuff, but it's just like I said, it's this bougie like
I'm busy. I got this. I got. It's like no, it shouldn't be like that. Like if I eat, we all eat type of vibe. That's how it should be. But it's like. Now everyone wants to do their own thing. Everyone wants to.
Because like they think like, oh, if I help this guy out, if I collab with this guy, I'm losing. I'm gonna lose something. It's like it's like. But like I said, like if you're him, if you're that guy, your audience is not leaving. He's looking at you like.
I'm sorry, I can't. I think that people. I don't think it's necessarily a bougie thing. Everyone wants to get to this spot in their content.
Okay, I'll let you finish.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say something like, don't get me wrong. Here's what I'll say. I feel like there's also an aspect to it where it's like you gotta also have like, I mean, this is real world. You gotta also have some like merit to yourself. Like for example, if you like posted like one video, like, and then you haven't posted in like 10 months, and then you're expecting people to just, you know what I mean? Like you gotta also kind of show like you're serious, so then people are more willing to like
support
collab with you.
Yeah.
So there's two sides of it. There's like the people that are like being bougie, and there's the people that are kind of like expecting people to
exactly
give them,
and they're not consistent. You don't ever see them and everything. And don't get me wrong, I'm not judging nobody. I used to be that kind of person, but then it's like at the same time, you have to get to a point with your content where you're constantly pivoting. You can't constantly stay in one section. You have to make sure you're going ahead to make the most out of all the content you're ever making. And another thing I would say that really like stumps a lot of people in Edmonton or just in general when it comes to content is that people don't like to see themselves try. Like people just want perfection all the way, but you have to start somewhere. There's going to be that time where your phone ends up falling over when you're filming. There's going to be that time when your light doesn't work. And there's going to be that time you run out of storage. There's going to be that time where your laptop crashes. There's going to be that time where your quality is not always going to be the best. But if you don't start, you're never going to get closer to perfection. You're just going to be like, oh, because it's not the best that I want at this point in time, I'm just going to stop making content. But you can't get to that point. You have to consistently be making the content and consistently be trying to get to that point. But it's just like everyone just wants Minute Maid success. success.
Yeah.
They don't want to work towards it or
They want
have
the
that
grind.
time. Exactly.
Hard
Ain't
work.
nobody got that pedigree. Not everyone has that grind. And it's like, come on now. Like it takes time to get there. Like I'm not saying that it's gonna take forever, but at the same time, there's a certain level of like talent and like hard work that goes into like going ahead to make content out here because everybody's making content. Let's be honest. Like there's always somebody who's taking a video, somebody who's going ahead to make a vlog or make some kind of podcast out here in Edmonton. But the thing is, like people go ahead and make it, but they don't have the right people supporting them, number one, or they end up getting like lazy. They end up feeling like, oh yeah, you know what, I made this video, so now it's my time to blow up, kind of thing. And it's like, no, it doesn't work like that. So yeah.
Oh God. Another thing kind of segues nicely into the other questions I was gonna ask. I was gonna ask about what's it called? You did a video on like hustle culture
Yeah.
and stuff.
Yeah.
And I think that video also tied very well with the other video you did on that Pixar movie.
Yeah, Soul. Yeah.
Soul.
Mhm.
Yeah. Do you wanna? Yeah, maybe talk about that.
Yeah, for sure.
So, has your opinion changed since then, or like? Because I know like you made a lot of videos. So like,
I would say that when it comes to hustle culture and my mentality of with it, it comes from a cultural perspective. Like being Nigerian, a lot of times we think that we're supposed to work hard to the point that we drop and we die and everything like that. Like that's the mentality, at least for my parents. But now, of course, my generation is like very much soft life. Everybody's enjoying, leisure and everything. And I feel like there needs to be a balance. Like yes, work hard, but not to the point where you end up dying for it, or you don't end up like spending the best years of your life just enjoying your family, your friends, and your community around you. It's not everyday money. It's not everyday. Oh, I have to be grinding and I have to be doing this and that.
5 a.m.
Exactly. Like are you
Ice
trying
bath,
to kill
full
yourself?
showers.
Please. Like listen, I understand if your career entails that. Like if you are an athlete, that makes sense.
Yeah.
But if you're not an athlete, why are you waking up at 5 a.m. saying mantras to yourself and going into an ice bath so you can wake up yourself in the morning just to go to work? Like I'm sorry, that's a little psychotic. Just a little bit. Like you gotta calm down a little bit, okay? Like I get it. Everything is driven by money nowadays, and I totally understand that. But that at the same time, what's the point of being driven by money when at the end of the day it's gonna leave you? Like you can't leave this world with money. You can't bury yourself with money and think it's gonna teleport with you to heaven. It's not gonna work like that. So like you have to get to a point where it's like, yeah, I'm working out here for money and everything like that, but that's not the essence of who I am. That's not where my value comes from. That's not where my morals come from. That's not who my identity is stemmed into. It's not money, you have to find real value somewhere else. But with Soul's one of my favorite movies, by the way. I love Disney. I love animation. That's my thing. But I think that finding your true essence is very important for you to navigate your life and everything. At times, I think people go ahead and navigate their life through external things, whether it is money or whether it is certain dreams and goals, and then they make it into an idol in their life, and they don't have a true focus on what they're trying to do. For instance, in Soul, he was like, "Oh, is this it? Like, okay, we did the performance, and then what?" But it's like if you don't understand that your journey in life is the essence of life, then you're just gonna lose out on all the amazing, memorable things that you're doing because you're just trying to chase the dollar, you're trying to chase a dream and everything. Because you end up finding out people who have a dream, they get to the end goal, but then they end up feeling unfulfilled. They end up like not enjoying their life anymore because they work so hard and they missed out on so many things just so they can get to that one goal that's unfulfilling to them at the end of the day, right? So yeah, I would say soul and hustle culture definitely tie in two and two. So yeah.
100%. I pretty much agree with like, pretty much everything you said. Like it's like a balance, you know what I mean? The balance of like work and like with Soul. Like, when I watched that movie Soul, it was kind of like, like because you're trying to find his like purpose. Or whatever, you know what I mean? And I feel like even to get to that point, you gotta like it's the experiences. It's the journey. It's not about like the end result.
Exactly.
Really. And I feel like we get like you said, we get caught up in like chasing the money, chasing. Don't get me wrong. Like, I'm not saying like be a bum, be like a loser. Right? Like, definitely, you should aspire for something, right?
Yeah.
But at the same time, like it's just balance. Like I guess like you got to figure out like who you are and like what you're willing to do. Like for example, like for maybe some seasons you might be a little bit unbalanced. It might be a little bit more of a grind season. Might be like might be watch anime, right? Might be a training arc for you. You know what I'm saying? Like you might have to go through that training arc. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But eventually, sometimes you gotta rest arc. You know what I mean? Like look at Naruto. You know what I mean? Kill Kage. You chill for a bit, but I don't know if that's the best example because after you became Hokage, but y'all get what I'm trying to say. Like there's seasons, So I think that's what it's about. Yeah, you hold up real quick. Do you want to check? I want to see if we have any comments
Any comments? Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, yeah.
Let me pull that
Sometimes
up real quick.
let me get some comments there.
Oh, sorry.
You know,
Let me
you,
pull it up.
yeah. I was
Yeah.
gonna say just go onto YouTube and then. But
Yeah, let me quickly get the link to it.
let's see if you
About
guys
that
left
real
any
quick. Yeah.
YouTube. Just type Donne Colioni. Sometimes, because last time you guys left some comments. So
Oh, that's the wrong one.
go up, click on the
Okay, yeah.
channel, and then go to live. Oh yeah, boom. You got any comments? Anyone? Damn, there's no one yet. Okay.
Yeah, I don't have any comments at the
No
moment.
comments
Yeah.
yet.
Mhm.
All right. All right. Y'all probably on. Probably a busy day for y'all.
Yeah, it's a
Probably-
Friday,
It's a
you know,
Friday.
yeah.
Oh yeah, it is Friday.
Yeah.
But I was also gonna ask you about. Let's see. Should we see? Okay. Yeah. Let's talk about the. Yeah, let's talk about the monetization.
Okay. Yeah.
So you got monetized. How's the monetization lifestyle? How is it like being monetized?
It's actually it's not bad. I think it's an interesting learning curve and everything like that. I had a couple videos that really pushed the amount of money I was making on YouTube and everything. But I'll definitely say that it's just interesting on now trying to understand how taxes work for creatives and everything like that. Like when you have a job and everything with the or are you working in general, your taxes get taken out. But for me now, because I'm making content and they're giving me like all the money practically, I have to cut out my taxes from it. So sometimes I have to put away like I don't know 50% of my paycheck from YouTube so I can save up for my taxes and everything, so I don't start owing the government money in the future and everything like that. But I would say monetization is fun. It's an interesting process. It took me a while to get there twice because I had to get remonetized again when I wasn't on YouTube for a bit. But yeah, it's definitely a rewarding process. Yeah.
Interesting. We're gonna get there soon. I'm trying to get on that.
Yeah, you gonna get there. You gonna get
See that YouTube money. What's
Yeah.
it called? I also want to talk about because you did a couple of videos on you did this one. I wanted to talk about it. It was like the Trinity of like
Oh, okay, yeah, I know.
representation.
Yeah, the unholy trinity of POC representation, which
Yeah.
was Mindy Kaling, Tyler Perry, and Kenny Bears. Yeah, yeah. What do you want to talk about with it?
Yeah, because you were talking about like I didn't really. I'm gonna be honest. I wanted to watch the video, but like I was on crunch time because I was preparing for the other.
Yeah.
But like we talked about previously before the episode started, we talked about how like felt like there just wasn't enough like representation for Black people in movies and stuff like that.
I think what I'm trying to like pull away from the fact that we have representation is the fact that the representation is for clicks, it's for dollar signs, it's for advertiser dollars. It's not for the general public. Like at times when we talk about Blackish or Grownish, a lot of those
I love
movies,
Blackish.
don't get me wrong, Blackish is great.
Yeah.
Blackish is great, but it feels like an infomercial for white people to know more about us. It doesn't feel like it's for us by us, if that makes any
Really?
sense. Like if
Okay.
you're looking at like the Bill Cosby Show, or you're looking at Fresh Prince of Bel-Air or
Okay.
Living Single, all those old shows were made by us for us, and it
Okay.
felt like we were just seeing our uncles and aunties and just chilling on the screen, doing their own daily lives. But this one, it felt like
You don't
just
feel it for that.
yeah, you're like
Okay.
breaking down our culture that is in like digestible bite-sized pieces for people to just take in. It didn't feel like it was meant to like have some kind of uplifting or some kind of unifying community aspect in the shows and everything. Or like for instance, Tyler Perry. Tyler Perry is that type of director who will go ahead and give some triggering, traumatizing content, whether it's like a Black woman struggling or a struggling family.
You see the
You know?
dialect.
Yeah, like it's always something else every single time. It's like, why are you trying to make money off your people so bad by just making us look so bad every single time in movies? Like I don't I don't understand. And I'm not saying it's a problem with it. I still watch Tyler Perry movies. Like, I know, I'm kind of part of the problem. But at the same time, I think it's just why do we constantly have to be in that mode of storytelling whenever we want to depict Black families? It doesn't always have to be from a place of trauma or pain or of being upset. It could just be a general happy-go-lucky movie where we're just enjoying ourselves. Because to be honest, those still make money. They still do. And we don't always have to have trauma as a storyline. We can go ahead and be like Jordan Peele. He's gone ahead to have centered black stories a lot of the times, and he has this element of horror or thriller to it that gets people captivated through his very diverse stories and everything. It doesn't always have to come from a point of view of trauma or headache or fetishization of any kind. It could just be authentic stories about us. So yeah, that's what I think
Do you
about.
think they're trying to just drag too much money out of
Yeah, it's
the
literally
trauma
just.
and just kind of like,
I would say that they're just really trying to drag the dollars out of it. I don't think it's authentic anymore. It just feels like they're just trying to make a quick buck off their own people and then go about making other projects because they know that that's what's going to take them far. Going ahead to appease Hollywood with certain stories that they know they're going to pick up and make money off of it. That's it. It's not really the authenticity they're driving the money. So yeah.
I can kind of see that with like when they make like slavery movies or slave type thing, like.
Like, how long you guys gonna make slavery movies? We're in 2023. Like, respectfully, like, what are we talking about?
I want to see a movie about Mansa Musa. I want to see.
They're never gonna do that. Like, let's be honest. They're never gonna make a movie about the world's richest man who so happens to be black. Like, they're not gonna do that.
And when they do, they like, for example, they did the YEG TV show, and they just do it in a way where it's like, did you even research? Like, and I think Women King too. Like, I can't really. I've never seen it. But
I watched it. It's not accurate. Apparently, a lot of the stuff wasn't actually what happened. Like, don't get me wrong. It was a good story in terms of like going ahead to showcase black people in a good light, but it was false because it's like if you actually search up the origins and like the actual, I guess, tribe that was there who knew what took place, they were actually involved in the slave trade and they still continued it on. But then in the movie, they made it seem like, oh yeah, we stopped the slave trade and we killed all the colonizers. Like, no, that's not what happened. Like, yeah, they were still making money off your people, but it's okay. Like, that's what I'm saying. So. Yeah, it's okay though.
Oh God, like that. I feel like like if you're gonna make a movie about like historical stuff, like actually accurate. Like like look at the kind of sidetrack, but like actually I was gonna say, like look at, for example, like Air Jordan. I don't know how accurate Air Jordan is. Movie Air.
Oh no, I heard it's really good though.
Yeah, like I saw that movie, like movies like that, like or like where it's like, I guess you can have some filler, whatever, but like stick to the story. Like, like you know what I mean?
Apparently, like wasn't Michael Jordan behind that story? Or no?
Yeah, like, it was Michael Jordan.
Yeah. Wasn't he like? Did he direct it and everything like that? Or was it
no. It was Ben Affleck, but I think they got like they got his input and stuff. They got
okay.
Yeah, and I think Michael Jordan. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think Michael Jordan, he had preferences on who played his mom.
And it was Viola Davis.
Stuff like that. Yeah. I think he wanted her to play his mom. But that movie was pretty good. Like it was kind of that like.
Is it in theaters right now?
Yeah. Oh. Well, I
pirated it. Maybe that's not how
But like, you know what I mean? Like it was a good movie. Like it was one of those movies where it's like accurate. It felt like it was accurate, and it was telling the story of like how Jordan came to be. So I feel like they should do that. Apply the same element and like like what you said, like in black representation, like history is about like slave movie, like I want to say slave movie, but like you know what I mean, like black history movies, like making it accurate.
Exactly. Yeah, I don't think the accuracy is there at all. But I see. Okay, I understand that there's a certain level of selling out that happens when you get to those kind of spaces. If you're ever in that point where people look at you as being one of the top directors, you're going to sell out even just a little bit, even if you don't want to, because if you don't, they're just going to keep you to the side. The only reason why Jordan Peele is looked at as one of those directors is because he's been in the game for a really long time. And on top of that, he's a comedian. When it comes to comedians, people let things slide a lot. But when it comes to like, oh, you're making like actual like heart-wrenching stories, or you're talking about like people being in pain and sorrow, whatever like that, there's a certain section that you're in. So when it comes to them going ahead to tell certain stories about black people or like people of color in general, there's a certain level of, okay, you have to appease the masses. You have to go ahead and have them white dollars still come in while you're still making your projects. And in order for you to do that, you need to either go ahead and whitewash your storylines, meaning you're having a whole bunch of white people and just one black person who's in it, or you have to make it look super like traumatizing for your people, meaning your people have to be in suffering and pain and trauma in some kind of way in order for people to watch it, or you just you know, just do things that are outrageous to get people to spray their money at you. That's it. So yeah, that's what it looks like to me personally. But yeah,
100%.
yeah.
Another what's it called topic I wanted to talk about too was like it kind of goes back to the whole like like the history of like black people and like how like before slavery and stuff like that in the education system. What was wrong with this? I had a good point. I'm drawing a blank now. I had a good point. Damn it, what was it? I was gonna say like yeah, like with yes, yes, I know where I was going with it. Yeah, because I was gonna mention that. So we changed topics earlier, but I want to bring it back. Because I on my channel I did a whole thing about like the history of like black people before slavery and all this stuff, right? And I was talking about how like yeah, like in schools they feel like it goes back to that same thing of the trauma and stuff. Like don't get me wrong, like it's good to for kids to learn about like slavery and stuff because I feel like obviously you don't want to repeat history, right? But I feel like they should also teach about like before that, like in school I didn't know who Mansa Musa was until like 3 years ago.
Okay.
I mean, like I didn't know about any of these any like any history before slavery. I didn't even know we had a history before. Like that just goes to show the education system. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I feel like there's gonna be another controversial thing too. I mentioned on the channel before, but I talked about how like this kind of like mentality like of like showing the trauma and stuff. It kind of leads to like
Go ahead.
It leads to like what's it called like this kind of like victim mentality where you feel like you kind of associate yourself with okay, you sort of say okay, I'm black because I'm black, I can't have this opportunity, this opportunity. I feel like shouldn't have that mindset. You know what I mean? Like shouldn't have that mindset of like, oh, like because I'm black, like and systemic. Don't get me wrong, like there is racial injustice out there, right? But I don't think you should let that deter you from going after what you want, being who you want to be in life. Because I feel like a lot of people they kind of let the whole like, oh, systemic racism, I can't, because like they'll never let me advance. But at the end of the day, it's like you gotta like become the change you want to see. You know what I mean? If you feel like there's no representation, then feel like like there's not many representation in police force. Okay, then why don't you become a police officer, work your way up, become like the chief or whatever. You know what I mean? Like like you know what I mean. We got like if you want to see the change, you gotta be the change.
Yeah.
It's one thing to go out to like protest and say you want to. We also gotta
be the change.
Be the change. And that's one thing I was like trying to hit home on the channel back in February.
Yeah, I would say that the whole victim mentality also is attributed to your upbringing and everything. I would say that like what the point I was trying to say earlier as well with it when it comes to your history and everything that's like that is that your culture is your backbone when it comes to your identity. And because you're taken out of the original setting of where your people are from and the mentality and the I guess culture that you were supposed to have, and you're taken to a foreign place, and there's certain things indoctrinated to you and your people, and then it's been embedded in your DNA for centuries. Then of course, I don't blame people when they feel like they have a victim mentality. When it's like people who try to make it either get shot or they end up being a slave to the system, or that something ends up happening to them that kind of configurates their walk with life and everything like that. But when we are growing up as Africans, the way that we think about things is like you gotta work hard. It doesn't matter if you're having bloody knuckles, bloody knees, like as long as you get to the finish line, that's what matters and everything like that, right? Because our name holds weight, our culture holds weight, who we are holds weight because we carry who we are with us along the way. We carry ancestral like names, we carry ancestral thoughts and ideas and like a whole bunch of things that have to do with who we are back home. We take it along with us in our journey of life and everything. So as much as yes, I agree that like slave mentality is horrible, but at the same time, I can't blame the fact that they had this kind of mentality because to be honest, if we saw like Africans being enslaved every single time, like clockwork in movies, we're gonna feel some kind of way about it. But like you can't really blame them for thinking that way when they can't really change the kind of movies that come out, right? It's whatever makes money that people go ahead and create. That's as simple as that. And slave movies make a lot of money. That's the unfortunate thing. And people go out to see it, and it's plastered everywhere. There's trailers everywhere. People see it all the time. So yes, like I agree that yeah, victim mentality is not the way to go, but at the same time, where does it come from? We have to understand it comes from slave movies. It comes from the mentality that people should be stuck in a specific way of living for the rest of their lives and just stay there, right? But we're not brought up like that. So yeah.
It's actually funny because I remember when I made the video about like Black history and stuff. I had a guy message me, we went back and forth for like a day, but after I was just like, ah, I'm just not gonna. I don't know. Me and the type of person, like if I'm arguing with someone about something, and like we have an opposing view, and they just get to a point where like they're just being emotional. I don't know. I didn't want to.
So what was it about?
It was about like so basically I said it was about this whole victim mentality thing. It's like he's like, you don't understand, like us Black people, like, there's no way they'll let us advance. You think you could just like he was all like cheese. I'm just like, bro, like that's your mindset. If you want to have that mindset of like victim mentality, you want to believe that, okay, cool. But me, nah, it's not my mindset. You know what I mean? Like I don't think I should like just because of the history, like just of one bad period of like history, I'm gonna think of myself like, oh, like I don't have an opportunity to be whatever I want to be, right? Like, I don't believe in like, you know what I mean? Like I don't know. I'm one type of person who's like pull yourself up by the bootstrap like that. Like that's kind of how I see it, right? Because like if you think about it, like there was people in history like Mansa Musa, he was the richest guy ever. You know what I mean? Like just me knowing that alone allows me not to fall into that.
I agree with that. I agree with that. I think that nowadays, like, I can understand if that's still the excuse that we're using back in the day, but now there's so many people in positions of power that look just like you that can give you that opportunity to be able to grow. And I would also say it also depends on our climate, because us being in Canada, yes, slavery was a thing here, and also like we know that there's a history of racism in Canada, but at the same time, like if people get called out for racism in Canada, people actually check that. Like there's certain measures that go ahead to like prevent and change those things from happening. Even though it's not always effective, but at least I can definitely say it's not the same in America. In America, people like would say that yeah, this is racist and everything like that. But like let's say someone ends up getting shot because they felt some kind of way about the Black person that was around them, which is as a result of racism, right? They can go skirt free. Like there's no real measure in going ahead to change racism over there when people who are racist can get away with things that harm people that look like me. But then over here in Canada, it's like whenever there's some kind of racism situation or racist situation that is as a result of someone having some kind of prejudice towards me or someone of color, things actually change. Like people actually do things and everything like that. I'm not saying it's perfect, but it's not the same way people have that mentality in America. So yes, I can agree to a certain point that yeah, things are not as easy here than it is in America, but at the same time, you have to weigh the pros and the cons. It's not always the best decision to feel as though that having victim mentality should keep you down to a certain mindset, but at the same time, you have to understand where to find wiggle room. Where to find wiggle room as a Black person, where it's like, yes, you can use the advantage that, yeah, I'm the only minority there, but at the same time, you have to know your audience, you have to know the people around you. Like, I'm not gonna lie, working in an organization where you're the only Black person or you're one of the only Black people there is kind of difficult. So you can use certain things to your advantage. Like, hey, like, like why don't we implement this, that, and the third so we can accommodate for someone like me? Those kind of things, right? So yeah, that's what I would say for that.
Okay. What do we do for time? What do we do? Let's see.
I think it's like almost 5.
Almost 5. Oh
Yeah.
shit. We started at like
Yeah.
Could wrap up pretty soon. Let's see. Do I have any other questions I was gonna ask? I was gonna talk about. I was gonna bring up like you made a couple videos on like colorism or whatever.
Oh Lord, do you really want to get into that?
I don't. Do I want to go there? I don't know if I want to go there. I don't know. Should we go
We can have a part 2 to this. It doesn't have to finish here, but yeah.
Let's see how much time we're in.
Time we're at 5:01.
5:01. Okay. Do I want to go into colorism today?
I think it should be a part 2. Okay. If the people want me back, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. You know what? I don't want to touch colorism today. You know what? I feel like I want to get canceled before I already start. So you know what I'm saying?
We'll let the canceling happen in part
2. Yeah. In closing up, do you want to just tell people like where can they find you? And all that
Oh yeah, for sure. So on Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok, I'm at _Shola, SHOLAYY _. So yeah, that's find me.
That'll all be linked down below. Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe.
Yes.
I'm still seeing a lot of you guys are watching and not liking. I don't understand. Like,
Or subscribing, like, what's going on?
yeah, like you got just subscribe. Subscribe.
Mhm.
I mean, it's not hard. I gotta coach you guys, dude.
Coach.
I gotta, gotta hold your hand through it. Okay, just click here. What I'm saying. But yeah, thank you for watching the video. Thanks for actually pulling up. You know
Oh,
what
no
I mean?
problem, no problem. Y'all know I'm gonna be here. I'm gonna be here for another purchase. Don't worry. Yes.
100%. With that being said, deuces.